welcome to the APTA Grand Prix Series. We are here live at the Patterson Club in Fairfield, Connecticut, and it's time for the men's final between the number 1 seeds Johan Randt and Mark Parsons and the number 5 seeds Max Pivert and George Wilkinson. I'm Jerry Viant along with Mark Fischel. And Mark, you want to paint the picture of how these players got here?
Well, it's a really exciting match, Jerry. Obviously, Durant Parsons had a far easier route to the finals. I don't think they didn't lose a set. And I think the 7 games they lost in the semis might have equaled the total from the prior 3 rounds. Max and George, Max Pivert, George Wilkinson, have had a real struggle to get here. They had a tough 3-setter in the round of 16 with Ben McKnight and Rob Bacher. Their quarterfinal match last night was somewhat marred by a collision in which Max got a couple of cuts. He ended up at Stanford Hospital last night. He was in the emergency room for about 3 hours before he got a clean bill of health. Although then he had to deal with his wife Natalia when he got home when she told her that he went back out and he played again. So I think that was more dangerous than the collision. So he came back this morning and they had a tremendous match with John Lubau and Steve DeRose. Won the second set 6-4.
It was a continuation, so when the power went out, it was the first set. So
first set.
Right.
Came back, won the second set 6-4, and then won the, I think, 11-9 in the third set breaker. Down 6-4 in the breaker, and then I think down again 8-7, 9-8. Just a tremendous match. And they're really showing their mental fortitude and toughness, which they exemplified again in their semifinal win over Casey Watt and Scott Kaler. They're just tough. They're a tough group. I don't think they've played particularly well to get here, which is another testimony to how good they are. George has been a little jumpy to me all tournament, just hasn't been as comfortable as he's been. And obviously a lot of that is related to the fact that they're a new team.
A new team, and also they've played, all of these matches, last part of last night, all through today, has been played in rain and wind. They moved courts on that semi-final because the heater stopped working, the ball was hydroplaning, the players were slipping. So halfway through the match with Lubau DeRose, I saw them move over because we were streaming the other court. So they have had a lot thrown at them, and they've been able to stay focused and pull through, like you said. So what do you think about this matchup? Clearly, Johan and Mark want their title back. This is the first year that they played Patterson together. It's the first of the series of 5 tournaments in the Grand Prix. And the fact that they're here and ready, business is sending a little alarm to the rest of the tour.
Yeah, listen, they've dominated the tour the last 2 years with the exception of Drew and Jared. They lost at Chicago last year to George and Marco. They lost to Long Island, but after that they kind of steadied the ship. They won Boston, lost in the finals of Philly in a 3rd set breaker to Broderick and Palmer, and then made the finals of Nationals. So we'll see. Mark's convinced they're going to be a little more patient. I think for them everything is preparation for Broderick and Palmer to some degree. And whether they're willing to change their style to beat those guys, to me, is the big issue. Because clearly they've proven they can beat everybody else, but they haven't beaten Drew and Jared.
And Max, like you said, Max and George are a new combination. They finished the season with their respective partners ranked 3 and 4 in the country. So they're looking to see if they can improve that standing. They've had a good run till this point. So I'm looking forward to seeing how they gel together. They're both very athletic. George brings a huge forehand. Max is one of the fastest players on tour. It's George Wilkinson to serve. And it's stopped raining.
Yeah, this is as nice as it's been all day. And I use the word nice very loosely.
Max Pivert at the net in the orange. George loves that heavy roller.
Now in the quarters, in the first half of the semis, George and Max were switching at the net to have Max in the middle.
On the left?
To the overheads, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't do that in the third set, most of the second set against Kaylor Watt, which I was surprised by. I expect to see a lot of I formation today. Each of them had a win over Johan and Mark last year with different partners. Max at Long Island with Jeff Morneau in the semis, a relatively easy win. And then George and Mark obviously had their big win at Charities in the quarters on Saturday night.
Max a little impatient on that forehand. That ball was too deep to drive.
15-30. George with the fault. He has not served particularly well today.
Looks
Usually
like Mark Parsons is going to be testing our camera. We've only got one camera up there on the top.
You know, Mark and Johan in a lot of ways are like the schoolyard bully. You have to prove to them that you could stand up to them in order to compete. And making that first volley is so important. Great backhand from Max, goes through.
Oh, then Johan takes two big strides and flicks it.
Would you call it the extender arm?
Yeah, it's a go-go gadget.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
seriously, he took two strides and then flicked that ball from behind his back. It's just amazing.
Tremendous shot. We have our first break of the match. 1-love. Jerry, what do you think the key is in the match for Max and George?
Well, they've got to get off to a good, solid start. Max has to hit his forehand. Can't just be George hitting the forehand. Max has got to have the confidence to step in. And being ready for those balls coming back. I mean, he looks...
Great hands by Mark Parsons.
Yep, they're off to a sharp start.
Do you think fatigue's going to play a factor in the match, Jerry?
You know, I think it might. These guys, George, like you said, George and Max have had just brutal 3-set matches. So they are both very fit. They have spent the summer in the gym getting ready. But more a mental factor, I think. And I know that Max was very shook up by taking that fall last night. I mean, he went to the hospital because they thought he had a concussion.
They've also played 5 sets today versus only 2 for Johan and Mark.
Yeah. But more and more, I mean, the depth of the draw in both the men's and women's is you've got to come ready to play 4 or 5 matches, tough matches. No more a cakewalk, and we'll kick in the quarterfinals.
That's a big miss from Max on break point. Back to deuce.
Big serve from Johan. It's kicking. It looks like they're keeping George out of it. Mark loves that roller. And I see a lot more patience coming from Johan and Mark.
A lot less shot clock attitude.
Mm-hmm.
As Max runs out of patience and hits the wrong ball.
Yep. They're showing a willingness to execute a plan.
Mark, who usually doesn't pick his paddle up much in the month of October, has played 8-10 times already. Won the Paddle Player Open last weekend and is really sharp. I had the fortune or misfortune of playing against him on Wednesday, and he was tremendous.
Just wide.
George has missed several lobs wide today.
Oh,
Great
right
return
move.
from Max.
Just a little late.
And this was not the start they were looking for.
Love 2. First set. Parsons Randt.
Love. Jerry, do you like it better with George on the ad at the net or Max?
You know, I haven't seen, this is the first time I'm actually seeing them compete. So, I haven't seen their range of shots. On paper, I would say Max with that slash should be on the left, but I don't know. Let me see them play a bit.
The other component to that is George has got such a terrific roller from the deuce side at the net.
He does.
And I think as you watch this match, Mark and Johan are going to make Max beat them. They want to see how much offense he can bring from that backhand side.
It's always the game plan. It's always the right game plan to start when you're playing against a new team, a new combination.
Johan, great manipulation.
That's a new team right there. That's a rookie mistake in their teamwork. Max should have stayed away and let George get it, throw up a high lob, start again.
15 all. George with a missed volley, 15-30. Big forehand from Mark Parsons misses. 30 all. Yeah, it's interesting. Do you think that George and Max have to have different types of overheads than they did in their previous two matches?
Different types?
To me, playing Durant Parsons is not about hurting them from the net. It's about preventing them from hurting you from the backcourt. Testing their patience.
Right.
Because that's been the issue with Johan.
Right. But he looks much calmer to me in this first tournament.
He certainly looks much more patient at the net.
Yeah. Because we haven't seen a short lob out of George and Max yet to allow Johan to get going.
Therein was the issue, right? Was he used to hit a lot of those on not such short lobs, a lot of hard overheads, a lot of aggressive overheads.
That's
a sloppy miss.
That looked tired.
Yeah.
That was tired.
You have to worry about him being both mentally and physically fatigued. There's the blitz.
Yeah. So
it's
not. It's steady play from Johan and Mark, and it's errors from George and Max right now.
What do they need to do to turn things around?
Well, I hope they've got some kind of energy drink and some food, and because I see a physical fatigue, which when you're physically tired, you're going to be mentally tired.
It's one of the things about playing Mark and Johan. You feel like you're always down a break, fighting to get into the match. It's like playing uphill all the time.
Oh. Big return from George. Mark's lining up that nick. got more of a flat overhead going into that corner, but you'll know he'll look for the roller.
That was an interesting overhead from Johan there.
Yep, it's pretty much 101 paddle strategy right now. Max hits 10 lobs, they hit 11 overheads. Max hits 15, they hit 16. No one's really taking any chances. They're just waiting for an opportunity. So this is attack and counterattack. And again, that's a tired error from Max.
15 all. Johan calls himself for being hit. 15-30. A lot of dry spots on that court, Jerry.
He's pointing that he should have got off the court rather than staying a target on the court.
15-40.
Right. Here's a chance. Again, Johan got caught not getting out of the way soon enough.
He had plenty of time to retreat there. Okay, they're on the board. George Wilkinson serving 1-3, first set.
Well, the good thing is, as you just commented, the court's drying. Looks like the rain's out of here. It's still only 51 degrees, so it feels like winter to us.
Great forehand from Johan. That's the ball Max simply has to put back in play. But as you commented, he's got to be tired after the last 48 hours.
And there's the strategy. Even though Max is in the deuce side, they're going to give him every ball.
Max missed that lob by 3 feet. 15-30. $15-40. Even George's grunt couldn't help him there.
A heavy dipping return from Mark, and Johan coming in behind it.
Wow. How long did that game take?
Yeah, quick.
Quick. George and Max have served 3 times, and I don't think they've been in any of the 3 games.
Yeah, they're going to have to think about different combinations, about staying back.
Clearly the conventional method is not being successful right now. Great rip from George.
So he took it off the back screen and was still able to get it to dip down. Nice move by George. It's called a blitz when your partner is hitting their returns dipping down at the server's feet.
Love 30.
So it's Mark Parsons is on our right as you're looking at the screen. He's got the blue long sleeve t-shirt on. Johan Durant's in all black.
Interestingly enough, Jerry, Mark was at Menursing. George was up at Silver Springs Country Club, and Max was at Siwanoy. Max left Siwanoy, and they had a little game of musical chairs amongst the 3 of them. So Mark went to Siwanoy, and George went to Menursing. Great shot from Johan.
And Johan moved in Boston.
Johan's now at the country club. So 4 rackets professionals. That's a bad decision by George.
Right. That's a tired decision. He should lob that ball up high.
Johan also had his second child this summer. Great serve. The other thing that's interesting to start, Jerry, is how many overheads Mark Parsons is hitting.
Yeah, there seems to be have a little change in the team. We're used to hearing Johan call you in his South African accent, and now I hear Mark Parsons calling the overheads.
I mean, one of the things that I think really hurt them last year was Johan was so aggressive at the net. Mark didn't get to hit enough balls. And I remember the match we did in Philadelphia where Johan was lunging in front of Mark, and he'd make 2 or 3 volleys, and then Mark would be left to hit the ball and he wasn't ready. Great pickup from George.
Yes, because that is a very heavy spin that Johan's hit. Now they've switched. Johan's hitting the overheads.
Very patient overheads from Johan. A lot of balls in the middle of the court. Not forcing the action at all.
That's the right move by Max on those hard overhead side back screen, that if he took it would pull him out of position. He could just stay still and let George come over and take that ball down the middle. There's the first right at George. Longest point of the match, Mark. So Johan's hitting that overhead hard, trying to make something happen. He wants to start the chase and create an opening that he can volley behind them. So 1, you need the racket skills to be able to handle the spin. 2, you need the foot speed to be able to keep up with the pace of it. And then 3, you need the presence of mind to have fast feet, slow hands, so you don't play into it. So these guys are making it look so easy time after time, but it's not. Those balls are really got a lot of spin on them.
That was a surprising miss from Johan on that volley. A little miss hit forehand for Max.
Big point here.
Back to deuce. I know one of the things that really appealed to Max about playing with George this year was his professionalism, his preparation, just how much it all meant to him.
Yeah, they're not afraid to commit to being the best that they can be.
Brad and I were talking earlier that we thought they were, with the possible exception of Roderick Palmer, the most mentally tough team in the country. George with a very late decision there.
Yeah. And they have worked on that part of the game. Wow. I mean, from this camera angle, do you see the way that Johan's overhead broke to the left when it hit the court, as we're looking at it? it broke and
shot.
jumped into the screen. Again, these guys, they just make it look so easy.
That was an unbelievable forehand, Johan, in off the back wires. 1-5. I think Max needs to hold here, obviously to stay in the set, but more importantly to create a competitive feeling out there, because right now they're not even close as he faults. Confirmed by Mark Bliss. Love 15.
Good eye by George.
Actually, I take that back. That's not Mark Bliss in the chair. Oh, good back by George. Jerry, in what situation is it good to get hit in the back? I mean, why was his back to the court?
He was twirling. He saw it coming.
Twirling. Oh. Couple of big forehands from Mark. Great volleys from George and Max.
They stayed perfectly still. Quiet hands and just absorb the speed of the drive.
I think that's 30 all. Johan finally misses a forehand. That was about 3/4 way up the net.
Yeah, Max is he's got to take his time a little bit before he starts serving. He kind of rushed that.
Nope, another miss. Boy, George is really crowding the middle. You like that?
Well, he's trying to make something happen, so yes, it's effective right now.
Back to deuce. That's beautiful footwork from Johan.
Good deep lobs by Max, pulling Mark out of the service box, so stopping him from being able to hit his hard roller at the neck.
Mark catches the neck. We haven't seen Mark Parsons hitting a lot of rollers today, have we?
No. He usually likes to hit that roller into the deuce side, but they've obviously got a different tactic. Mark's actually hitting more flat overheads. Oh!
Great shot from
He's
Johan.
got to be calm. It's a great move. And Johan, I mean, his antenna is always up. He knows exactly where all the players are on the court. Drilled that shot.
Missed volley from George, and the first set's over. How long was that first set, Rick? About 20 minutes? Including the warm-up? Yeah. So I guess that first set was in the neighborhood of about 22 minutes.
So, Mark, let's talk about the Grand Prix series. And we mentioned a little bit yesterday in the pre-game show, but this time last year, the APTA kicked off the Grand Prix series as part of the initiative to grow the game. And we're not sure how it was going to go, which players were going to travel, because the idea was to have a tournament in different regions. And I think by the depth and the size of the draw here,
Tremendous success.
yep.
And I just think Scott Ponderon, Shannon Vincent, Ann Sheedy, Mark Parsons, Patricio Misatrano just did a wonderful job. Second set is starting now. First point. From here we'll go to Chicago Charities early November for the next event.
Then
But
we've
all the
got-
top teams are showing up at the Grand Prix on a regular basis.
And we've got 2 new stops on the tour, hoping to spur on the growth. We've got the Boston and Short Hills becoming part of the Grand Prix Tour.
That's going to be really terrific. And after we hit the new calendar year, it's every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
We got a major event every 2 weeks.
With the mixed nationals being 2 weeks before the nationals, so we've found that any time the mixed nationals is before the nationals, the draws are so much stronger because all the top players want to get that one more tournament experience under the belt.
Johan and Mark just have them under so much pressure right now. 30 love. Missed volley from Johan. Good return from George.
So let's focus on Johan's preparation on those overheads that really break away, because he really gets that ball to kick off the court. And again, these guys are getting them back, making it look easy, but that ball is really...
I didn't know George could jump that high.
He jumped before the ball hit the court. He knows what Johan wanted to do. Johan's got his paddle ready, pushed it wide.
First sloppy miss we've seen from Johan tonight.
Really cocks his wrist and goes right across the back of the ball, makes that ball rotate, and it bites on the court, and then it grabs the screen and drops on the screen.
30 all. I always feel like the first game of a set after you've lost the prior one is just critical.
Yeah. Yes.
And that's not George's game.
That's a bad shot. Bad shot selection. These lobs are too short. Yeah, because that's what happens. You hit 2 or 3 short lobs, and Johan is just going to get that extra bite on the ball.
First game to Randt Parsons, and the locomotive continues down the tracks.
No, they're just playing smart paddle. They're playing within themselves. You're not seeing those crazy big shots that we saw sometimes last year, where there was, as you said, there seemed to be like a shot clock. They're only willing to hit a certain number of balls, and then that was it. Looks like there's a much more patient, conservative play. And when I say conservative, there's still a lot of offense. There's a lot of spin. There's a lot of power. George Wilkinson serving. Love 1. Second set.
They really need a hold here.
Yeah, Max has got to let that ball go through. You don't want to have yourself reaching for the ball. You're not going to be able to control it. Nice inside out roller right deep to the singles line. Jumped right off the court.
As soon as they get any momentum, they make a mistake like that. 15-30.
Too fast.
Well, that ball was in Mark Parsons' wheelhouse, too.
Yep. Well, he knew that George was off balance. He was recovering from the volley, and then he hit a quick overhead. Mark was trying to catch him before he regrouped. Oof.
Great hands from Max.
Yeah, I mean, how was he able to get past that wingspan?
Cat and mouse that Johan plays is terrifying. Because you always seem to be the mouse.
It feels like you're playing against a 747. It's like coming at you.
And it's slow, 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 and then boom,
Right.
it's right on top of you.
Right.
Johan misses the forehand. Game point for Pivert and Wilkinson. This will be a big hold for George. He can pull this game out. Oh, Mark misread that one.
Good heavy spin. That was a good hold.
We have the first hold of the match for George and Max. 1-all.
1-0 second set. Mark Parsons to serve.
Well, Mark's really not going after that backhand, is he?
No.
He's kind of probing with it.
I love the way how Max closes the net on that volley and picks it off before the ball has a chance to dip down low. So you notice these guys, they're throwing all different combinations as a team, and it always appears seamless. Like that transition there from Max and George being in the backcourt going up to net. Each player knew where to be based on where they had hit the ball.
Little momentum shift. A couple of sloppy mistakes from Randt Parsons. Love 30. Oh, what a pair of volleys from Johan. George hit that ball so clean, so solidly, and Johan anticipated it and was ahead of the ball.
Yeah.
Punched it even.
Yeah. Max seems to be really hitting his return of serve better today. Now he's making the adjustment back to the ad side. When he played with Juan the last couple of years, he was playing the deuce court. I think he prefers to be on the ad side, but you do have to make some adjustments. The ball's coming at you from a different angle. You do tend to get more opportunities to step in and drive.
15-40.
That was smart play by Max to stay back on that drive. He would have been caught in transition and Mark would have had a target.
He blocks that ball and absorbs pace so well with that two-handed volley.
You can hear it. You can hear how soft that counter is. Oh.
Johan misses the overhead.
Well, that's encouraging for George and Max.
Yep. Hung in there, got a couple of bad mistakes from Mark and Johan in those two games, and we're up a break.
And we've got a perfect weather day. It's cloudy.
Perfect for the players, not so perfect for the announcers.
No, we were not prepared for the temperature drop nor the sideways rain.
I threw a pair of long pants in at the last second, otherwise I'd have been in major trouble.
Yeah, because yesterday you rocked up in shorts.
Yeah, yesterday was a nice day.
And we want to thank the Patterson Club. They really have done a wonderful job. This is a new facility, 5 courts. Scott Sloban, a director here, and the board of directors have a vision for the platform facility, and the courts are here, and then next year they'll start work on the hut, which will be in the middle of the 5 courts.
Beautiful setup. George with a hard overhead misses badly, and they're down love 30. Really need to consolidate here, keep the pressure on Mark and Johan.
Look at those hands.
Oh, half volley lob.
Yep.
See, that was a good one right there. That's where you would have thought you saw that hard roller for Mark Parsons into the nick, and instead he hit a defensive overhead.
Now, what do you mean by a defensive overhead?
One that was designed to do nothing but elicit another lob.
So I call that an offensive overhead.
Well, the way Mark Parsons hits his overheads, when he's firing at the nick, I would call that an offensive overhead.
Well, that's trying to get the winner, get the error.
Okay, so he was trying to hit a winner with the overhead normally.
Yeah.
Max misses the forehand there, love 40.
He's not in trouble with that overhead, so he's got control of where he's hitting it.
Same thing there, no real big backhands, just gently probing. Another great lob from Johan.
Yeah, it was like a half volley lobs. That takes such tremendous touch.
Ball from Max. And Mark
Oh,
Parsons with a
wow.
beautiful recovery.
Well-placed overheads and well-placed lobs. So we're seeing an attack and counter-attack. Both teams are waiting for someone to hit it a little shorter, a little lower, a little faster, something to change the speed of play. That block lob is so effective.
Now that last overhead Mark Parsons hit, he was asking Max to drive that ball.
Max had to go to his left to hit it. He
And
fell
Johan
for the
was
bait.
standing on the net.
Yeah, he shouldn't have hit it.
2-all.
Oh, see how low Johan gets his hands down and just scoops that ball off the bottom of the screen.
Amazing.
Well, that was a... Yeah, you cannot take a backhand overhead floater like that. Johan's gonna... He was right on... As soon as he saw George set his
bam.
paddle, he was right there.
Yep, closed quickly. Ball was called out. I believe it was confirmed by the umpire. Big forehand from Mark Parsons. That was a bad decision by Mark. Was not happy about it. 15-all. 2-all, 15-all, second set.
Whoa.
That's the ball Johan's got to let Mark volley.
Mm-hmm.
Mark was in good position for that.
So tempting. If I could reach it, I could hit it.
Why is George Wilkinson serving? What is George's serve? I thought Johan just served. We have a hole,
game.
3 games to 2.
Yep.
Looks like we have a match, Jerry.
Yeah, are they rotating the ball in? Did you notice? I didn't notice before.
I think they're doing every 7 games.
They are. We were talking about that earlier, you know, when those wet conditions, there's just no way that the flocking can stay on the ball under those type of conditions. And when the flocking starts coming off, the ball travels differently through the air, and you also can't put as much bite on it. So
Yeah, we were talking about that also, and we found that once the flocking comes off, the ball tends to skid less because it absorbs less water.
you don't feel like you have the control on the paddle face.
No, clearly. 15 love.
Was that in?
Yep.
Yep. It was a
Nobody
great
ever-
shot without the net. I mean, we could see the trajectory from this angle.
Mark's pointing at a spot. Ball clearly looked good.
Oh, beautiful the way he held that backhand.
One of the things that George and Max have shown us in their early part of their partnership is they are not going away.
Mm-hmm.
They're in this thing till the end. lost the first set in the 16s and the quarters to come back and win. Now, in fairness, that was not against Randt Parsons, but they're going to be competing.
Mm-hmm. So again, we're seeing that they're not lobbing because they can't drive. Here we've got the best players in the countries using the lob to set up the opportunity to hit the drive. A lot of time players feel like they have to drive winners. They have to hit winners off the deck, and they make way too many errors.
There's a miss for Max. Takes us to 40-15.
Mark and Johan both hitting those lobs, so it's pulling them out of the service box, and when they get a short lob, Max is rotating his shoulders a little bit more and putting more spin on the ball. So on the deep lobs, they're thinking placement. They get a short ball, they're thinking more spin.
Couple of errors starting to creep into Mark and Johan's game. Point for 3 all. Right, drive for Max.
And he caught Johan moving. George and Max are showing a little bit more energy.
They were.
Max, he needed to shift over.
Yeah, he had Johan in all sorts of trouble.
Yep, he needed to get over there, and George was straddling the middle.
Big miss right there.
And they're switching sides in the back. Nice high lob, and Johan just slides back to the deuce side.
An indecisive forehand from Mark Parsons takes us back to deuce.
Oh, Max didn't realize that Johan was still there.
That's one of the things Mark and Johan do so well. When Mark lets that ball through, drives it off the deck, and Johan's looming at the net, waiting for you to pop the volley up.
Very effective.
It's a great angle, isn't it, Jerry?
Yeah.
See that ball moving like that.
He's going left. He's not going forward when he's striking the ball, and that ball's just going to fly. So
how should Max have hit that ball, Jerry?
he needed to let it go through. He hit a good lob and slid over to his left, looking for the short ball, and they countered with 2 deeper shots. So you just roll with it, throw up the lob, come out, and start again. You can't be moving to your left as you're striking the ball. It's that little cat and mouse that you're talking about, Mark.
Ooh.
Okay, Johan's moving to the left, trying to hit. It's
Same
very
exact
hard.
thing.
Yeah, it's very hard to keep that ball in. And that's what you're trying to do with the placement of your shots, is you're trying to get your opponents off balance when they strike the ball. Let it go. Let it go.
Just don't want to volley when you're stretched out like that, do you, Jerry?
Below the level of the net. And there's enough speed that he could have easily run down and got it off the screen. It wasn't like it was going to die.
Oh, that ball had the back wires and the fly? I don't see too many forehands like that from Johan. I think that's 40-15. 3 all, 40-15. Nope, 40-30. You surprised that Max served first this set, Jerry?
Yeah, I mean...
Me too. I mean, every other match I've seen, George has started them off. Obviously no sun issues today.
No. It's a nice roller and a great dig.
And that hits Mark Parsons on the way through.
So George and Max are settling down and they're finding a way to climb back into this second set.
They just switched balls. Second 7-game sequence, so it's Johan Randt serving 3-4, second set.
And Mark and Johan made a few loose errors there.
That game that Mark Parsons served at 2-3, Max and George really had a shot at it. Max missed that short volley. Those are the mistakes you just can't afford to make against Randt Parsons.
Max was looking to come in behind that. It's a wrong ball to attack for George. I like that Max was looking to sneak in behind that deep lob.
Ball was called out, confirmed by the umpire. 15 all.
Funny seeing Mark hit flat overheads into the neck on the ad side. I've been so used to watching him hit rollers into the deuce side.
Though he still manages to hit the nick with alarming frequency.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's 3 this game. 4 this point, sorry. Yeah, you're starting to see some of the errors come into their game, making some mistakes. George and Max keeping the play long. 15-30.
That's a nice lob, nice and high. Johan's way behind the service line. There's that extra rotation that gets the short ball. George is doing a good job of lobbing deep down the line. It's creating movement. They're getting Johan to cover more court. Came in too soon, and you can't do that. Johan's way too good. He's on top of the net. He's looking for that first step, and then boom.
Yep, lured him into that. 30 all.
Oh boy, that's a good shot. Like a stab forehand. Lob was just long.
Break point.
See how that? See that? How Johan
Yeah,
did that? Just
tremendous.
like a stab.
Point for 5-3.
Straight
Serve for the
down.
set. Max's lob goes out of the court. And Johan knew it the whole time, didn't he?
He just moseyed back and looked right at the spot where it landed.
They're laughing about it now.
So we're at deuce. Second set. Johan and Mark got the first set 6-1. And they're on serve 3-4.
Great volley from Johan. George misses the lob long. Boy, just a couple of errors George and Max have made this set. Couldn't afford to miss.
Yep.
Great shot from
Yep,
Max.
that's reminded me of one there on that shot. Had Max set up and held it, and the ball, the overhead landed higher in the screen. And that's what gave Max the choice.
Big return from George. Break point number 2.
My follow through almost hit you, Mark.
Almost. That overhead was close. Johan was bailing.
Yep.
Mark was hanging in there volleying.
He was ready. The ball went through. Well, nice combinations there from Max. That's tired.
As soon
They
as you
really-
said that, Jerry, he hit a
Yep.
ball in the middle of the net.
Yeah, but it was a nice combination.
was
They're
nice.
making Johan really cover a lot of court. Oh, beautiful move by Max. That's a change of speed.
Yep. Another break point. The longer these games go, the more they seem to mean.
Oh.
I think we both groaned at the same time.
Oh,
Break.
George let that lob go that landed it probably right on the back of the line.
And then hit a great shot. When Mark Parsons made that overhead look easy, didn't he?
Yeah. Well,
Backhand roller from behind the service line.
and
Why do you
all
think-
these sorry.
Why do you think Mark's hitting so many flat overheads?
I
Just
think
testing
he's trying to
George?
get the
Testing
nick,
Max?
and I think their game plan is clearly that they're going to put that ball on the outside and see what Max can do, and just play percentage paddle. They're not going to give away any quick points, so he's hitting it very flat. He's going for the nick, not giving Max anything to work with.
And you think the hard roller, which he normally likes to hit, would give Max too many options?
I think they can both handle it. I mean, they both have stepped in and blocked that shot, so they don't let it going. So it takes time away from the person hitting the overhead when they get a block lob back.
Game point. Boy, Max made several sloppy errors that game. 4-all.
But what I was going to say is, you know, all these shots that they make look easy, the roller, the slash, the gets, the switching, they've been practiced. These guys drill and practice. They don't just decide to try it.
Mark seemingly hits the nick at every overhead.
I'll have to ask him how he does it.
I've taught with him when he tried to feed like a backside ball to a woman and he kept hitting the nick.
Sutazian's very good at feeding the nick on purpose. When we're practicing that drill of who covers and calls, and 15 times she hit it in one 20-minute session. It was impressive.
Great serve. Soon that was called in. I think that'd make that 40 love. 4-all, 40 love.
4-all, second set. Johan held that and then kind of hit a slap shot. Oh, move your feet. That's as we say, send the troops out. His feet stayed still and he just threw the paddle out there.
Max slid into that ball in the backcourt. Second or third time today I've seen him do that, like clay court tennis.
He likes that.
He is French.
That's a heavy, heavy forehand by George. He got the down up overhead and just stepped in and ripped it straight down at their feet.
4-5.
So there is one team missing of note in this tournament that we might like to mention.
Two-time defending national champions. Drew Broderick, Jared Palmer.
Yep. I think they'll be making their first appearance at the Atlantic Classic and on the Grand Prix Tour in Chicago.
Yeah, Chicago should be fun. See these two teams in the draw for the first time since last year's Nationals.
You can see from this angle just how flat that overhead is and where Mark's ball is landing on the court. It's just inside the singles line.
Forehand for Max. Great volley from Mark Parsons with Johan jumping in front of him. A lot of really patient overheads as Mark catches the nick on a low roller.
15 love. Oof. Good pressure, George, coming in behind that return from Max. This looks like it's starting to rain again, Mark.
This weekend's the first time this year that Mark and Johan have been on the court together. They play together less than any of the top teams.
Oh, I love that shot. From Max, he just holds it and then rolls it cross court. Just Mark and Johan are just showing incredible patience. That's the wrong shot.
Max played such a good point the first 50 balls and then just gave it away. 30-15.
It's that tenacity of like a dripping tap of that ball coming back and back and back. You feel like you have to do something different. How did Johan make that volley?
Amazing.
Going sideways and then he jumped in the air.
I was thinking that was the exact same volley he missed last time Mark served that you commented on. He was moving, and this time he just extended a little further out.
He did like a hovercraft move.
That's set point right here for Le Pivert and Wilkinson. George Wilkinson very aggressively positioned.
That's normally a ball that just
Johan
would
slashes.
Just, get down low and go after. Oof.
That was going to be very close.
Yeah. Well timed off the deck on that drive by George. Wow.
Game and second set. Le Pivert Wilkinson 6-4.
That was a turnaround.
We got a match, Jerry.
Yeah, that was a turnaround. Good, solid picking spots. Looks like these guys are going to take a quick break. We might take a quick break now too. Leave the camera on and we'll be right back when the players resume the third set. All right, we're back, and during that break, it's just started to rain a little bit. That most of that second set it was dry. So, new ball. George is serving first.
Mark with an aggressive blitz.
Yep, I think they might pick the pace up now.
It feels that way, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
That last set was slow.
Slow by their standards, for sure.
Glacial by their standards.
Very, very deliberate. Johann's jumping around there. I see he's got a sleeve on his left calf.
George almost pegs Mark with his serve.
That would be a loss of point.
Yeah, love 30, unfortunately, though. I think it's really imperative that George and Max get off to a good start and not let Mark and Johann get away from them.
Yeah, well, it's that speed of play. Oof, boy,
Great
what
volley. Where's George going?
No, and even if you're going and it goes at your ankles, don't touch it.
Why did he do that?
You have to ask him. I don't know.
That was a strange play.
trying to
Johann had a
force it.
short slash.
Yeah, I think trying to keep the energy level up.
Wow.
Way too fast for George and Max.
So I'd like to see George and Max take a minute here in the changeover.
Yep.
Instead of a fast changeover, and Johann's going to be serving about 25 seconds after the last game ended. Maybe 15.
Exactly the speed that they like. Johann and Mark. Max caught Johann moving to the middle.
Again, too fast. Mark was on top of the net. Max tried to blitz there. I think that's one of the hardest things about playing against Randt Parsons is keeping the pace slow. I mean, fast is fun, Jerry.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to drive 25 miles an hour. Everybody wants to drive 75 miles an hour.
Yep.
So let's play fast with these guys because we can handle it.
Well, you get caught up in the razzle-dazzle because it is exciting.
Ball's going through, banging off the wires, and then you're shaking hands and you wonder how you lost.
Yep. Say, boy, those guys are really good. As Chris Gambino said when I think you interviewed him at the Midwesterns, it's just the ranking teams adjust to different styles of play. So Johann and Mark, when they first got together, there was all these big plays that they brought to the table, and all the teams tried to beat them the way they were being beaten, and they didn't have that. It wasn't always match their game. And players have learnt to adjust.
Well, George and Max need to adjust a little bit right now.
Yep. Well, they're not playing at their speed. They're playing...
No, this is the first point of the set. It's been played at a slower speed.
Mm.
The first 7 were bam, bam, bam. Well, that was a silly shot by Mark Parsons.
Yep. George is looking for the down-up overhead. That overhead that lands short in the service box. Oh!
Johann read it. Was too far in front of it. 40-30. Chance for George and Max to get back the deuce.
What a fabulous serve. Deep in the corner with the kick. Nice block lob by Max off the deck.
Little miscommunication between Mark and Johann there. Getting George some swings. Max is doing an excellent job of lobbing down the line, Getting Mark to get some cross-court overheads to George's forehand.
Chance there. There was a chance.
Well, George should have been looking for that ball off the deck, shouldn't he, Jerry?
Yep. He needed to step in. I think he was too far to the middle.
But why so far to the middle when Max was lobbing down the line? Love
Change
two.
the look.
Good deep serve for Max.
And Max calls the switch, throws up a high lob. And Johan keeps going after Max in the corner. There it is. Just what the play you were talking about.
George is ready for that one. And there's Mark's counter to it.
That's Max using the screens to give himself more time.
It's interesting. I think Durant Parsons have been much more successful with Johan on the net and Mark hitting the overheads. Max has had much more success being able to lob down the line.
Oh!
Off the deck he hit that shot, Jerry. That's a much easier shot to hit out of the air.
Spun in the service box and went back into the net.
Wow. 15-all. Almost a must-hold for Max here. Great ball.
Yep. See how low Johan got down? He looks like he's cranked it into another gear.
Clearly he has. 15-30. That's a great serve. Mark Parsons has taken very few rips at that backhand return of serve, which is normally his bread and butter.
George took himself off the court so he wasn't a target when Johan was lining up that drive.
But those were both forehands Mark Parsons could have really hit, and he chose not to. Ended up losing the point. Both high balls he could have really come down on with some velocity. Point for 1-2.
Boy, you can really see that serve breaking from this angle.
Yeah, it's a great angle.
Yeah, from the ad side.
For our viewers, normally we have more angles than this. Unfortunately, with the problems with the courts, we had to switch the court we're streaming, and we're fortunate enough to be able to get any angles. Oh, great get.
That was plural on that.
Oh, Johan catches the top of the tape. Great point.
Okay, let's watch this serve again, because this is really where you can see it. Max's serve, when it hits the court before, it was going away from Mark.
Fault.
Made him reach.
Back to deuce.
Right.
Looked like Johan thought that return was going to be long. He hesitated
Yeah,
just a
and
fraction.
George hesitated too. It looked like they were going to stop play. Okay, let's get another look at this serve.
Mark's starting to swing a little more freely at that backhand.
He jumped on that. Good composure right here.
Really important game for George and Max.
Oh,
great spot
nice.
Mark Parsons picked out there.
Yeah, great spot.
Right on that right hip. Point for 3-love. Max stayed away from that Parsons backhand that time.
George hit 3 deep rollers and then changed it up with a little slider. Kept it deep in the court and got the error. Oh, that's just great. That's just great. I mean, the right speed, right spot on the court.
I'd like to have seen George retreat a little bit earlier in the point, but it's a tough position. Oh, there's the Parsons backhand. Well, Johan's missing a few too many balls right now. George and Max need to take advantage.
They played Australian last time, serving to Johan. Now they're back regular. He's just dominating on his return of serve.
That last volley he hit was a hard volley. You're moving that fast to maintain control of your hands.
Down, up, overhead, and Max pounced.
Great move by Max. He read it.
So where should Max put his serve now? I mean, Mark's clearly...
I'd be coming into the Parsons forehand. I'd be staying away from that backhand right now. Mark's ripped the last couple of backhands.
Went down the tee and it still became his backhand. I think all 4 players are seeing the ball really well right now.
Johan slides over into the middle to take some more of the overheads.
That's a good lob. Creating movement.
Max was sniffing that one, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Mark likes that little waterfall overhead.
Little dink. Half volley lob. All 4 players are showing a variety of shots, not just one way to win a point. Oh, good. He's got it.
Max catches the lead cord.
Those lucky breaks.
Don't get lead cords if you lob. And they hold 2-1 Randt Parsons. That was a big hold for Max Pivert.
We're in the 3rd set.
Much better pace and tempo from George and Max there.
Yeah, they played the first game they played was just way...
First 2.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yep.
Calvary.
Yep. I agree.
Coming with sound effects now.
Okay, Mark Parsons to serve, 2-1, final set. As we play for the title at the first Grand Prix event of the year.
Grand Prix We'll talk a little bit about the point value, Mark, when we get a chance.
Well, there's a floor of 3.25. This event was exceeded that. It was 3.50.
So what that means is whether 2 top players show up or 20 top players show up, the point value is guaranteed. So,
3.25.
that's the whole thing behind the Grand Prix. That's why the players want the points. Because as we saw at the Nationals in the presentation, when the trophy, the first trophy, the Grand Prix went to Juan and Max, how much it meant.
Boy, Mark with his hands on his knees, leaning over, not happy with that miss. 15-30.
Nice move by Max. Little spark, you can feel the momentum shift again.
A little low energy for Mark and Johan too. Johan just kind of stood there and watched that point unfold. 15-40. Johan with a very difficult volley from mid-court. We're back on serve. Starting fresh, Jerry. 2-all in the third.
Yep, they're still in it. There's the roller.
I fully expect to see 2 of these teams in the semifinals of Philadelphia.
That's the host of the Nationals. Will be there in March.
Look at Max move, and Johan misses the volley.
Yep.
Great get. 15-love.
George has picked up his energy level. Body language is very positive.
Another slappy miss from Johan there. Didn't really.
Yep, Mark is giving Johan an encouraging tap on the paddle. Let's go. Nice drop volley with the use of a leg cord.
I practiced that one too. 40-love.
I love that little cut volley.
Boy, Max played a great game.
And look at that. I mean, that is such a hard shot to pull off because you're moving to the middle of the court and you're going for such a sharp angle, but you're running out of real estate. So to get it so it hits the side screen and dies in the back screen, I mean, takes tremendous touch.
First time all tournament Randt Parsons have been behind. They've just been cruising. See how they respond. Although Mark Parsons is virtually always positive.
Five love.
Great sequence by Johan.
Right, and that's that follow-up change of pace, not overhitting the second ball.
And that was a difficult volley. He was really stretched out.
No, that's trying to force the play. Doesn't have to be that good. Johan hit a fabulous serve that made George really have to move to his left.
Joey, who do you think the captain is between Max and George?
I don't know. Too early to tell. I think they're very balanced. They both bring a lot of skill sets to the table.
Who do you think should be the captain?
I can't answer that either. I'm not sure you need a captain.
Have there
I
been
like
great
it.
teams without a captain?
Yes.
Which
yes.
ones?
Well, I think Jared and Drew
But
have
Drew is
leveled.
clearly the captain.
He was in the teaching Jared how to play, but what Jared brought to the table once he knew the game was his mental toughness. And he, even though Drew was really mentally tough, I think that Jared really helped him. And I think they're much more a balanced team now. I don't see the captain, and that Drew's got the experience to come up with the tactics and the strategy.
But that's what I mean. The person who's in charge of tactics and strategy
Okay.
who's going to call
Okay.
audibles, not the better player.
Okay. Well,
I
then
mean, the team, the captain doesn't have to be the better player. It's irrelevant to that issue.
it's the well. I still think it should be the good teams. It's a
Great volley.
collaboration, because you should be able to see the court the same way. That's what makes a good team. That they see this court the same way. They can call the strategies. They're not fighting each other. It's who recognizes what's happening while it's happening. And I think it's too early to tell. Georgia match. This is just their first tournament. That
What
was
a return.
Yep. That was a great rip.
Yeah, I guess I'd posit that all great teams have had a captain. Not a better player and a worse player, but one person who's kind of in charge of tactics and communicating, making decisions.
I'm going to think about that.
Okay, that'll be a good conversation for us in Chicago.
Yeah.
Love 30. Couple big returns. Oh, that is just beautiful, Jerry.
Yeah, the momentum has changed a little bit. And now Johan's picking up the pace. Oh. Ah!
Boy, Max was on that ball.
Yep.
But
Johan's
three on the third, Johan tries that shot.
And he's playing like he's in a hurry now. He's picked
Love
up
40.
the pace.
Here, Max and George slowing the pace down. I think that's a smart move by George. Oh, great backhand
Beautiful
from Mark.
backhand. Ah. Good call by Max. Too
To
short
no
of
avail.
love. Matt, too short of love.
That was a heck of a game Mark and Johan played right there.
And
Again, the really fast change of size.
Yep, they're already down there.
Ready
give me
to
the ball,
go.
give me the ball.
I like George and Max taking their time here. So 4-3 final set. Mark Parsons to serve. The ebbs and flows of a paddle match.
Mm-hmm.
First two for Randt Parsons. Next three games for George and Max. I think they forgot to switch balls before.
And you can see George is taking a moment to eat something. And George and Max have a lot of things to talk about.
They're an impressive team, Jerry.
No, it's fun. We kind of we knew that when we saw the draw.
Well, I think if I'd asked you during the week, who do you think we're most likely to see in the finals, this is what you would have said.
Yeah, obviously they were seeded fifth because of the new teams coming together get 85% of the points from their best three tournaments from the year before, as opposed to the teams that have played together last year. They get to keep 100% of their points.
Now, their hair by the chin on Max's beard. I mean, saved 4 match points in the quarters. We're down a set in the 16s. Great volley from George. But that's what paddle's all about. Good series of overheads for Max. Has Mark moving around.
Yeah, Mark's lobbing, pulling him back too. Oh, I love how Johan comes in and like flicks it.
Holds it,
Yeah,
flicks
yeah,
it.
and then and the flick is a bullet, by the way. Oh, Max, he saw Johan make that move at the last minute, change his overhead. That's that court awareness that I'm talking about. All the top players have it.
Great volley from George.
Yep. Mark's little step, little adjustment steps, getting out of the way, still finding his point of contact.
Great point.
Mm-hmm.
Johan played a very patient point. Forced the action a little bit at the end, but ball came out pretty far. Love 15. Max has been successful with that shot a couple of times today.
3 clear ones he's hit over the same part of the net. And again, he's not looking to hit a winner, he's just looking to get the reaching error from that shot. It's a flat down up overhead, followed by the roller. And he changed the pace. He looked like he was going to rifle that, didn't he, Johan?
Yep.
So what happens is you're expecting the ball to come at one pace, and when it gets changed, you're either in the crash landing position and you can't take that first step forward, and you're late.
Too hard an overhead from Johan. Max makes him pay. Love 40.
And he's making him pay with his backhand.
His one-hander. He had a couple of good two-handers earlier today. There's the big forehand. Great shot for Max, and it's 4-all. First
Great
to 2,
hands.
Jerry, for the tiebreaker if we both get there at once. Third set's been very good.
I think we're fortunate that the rain stayed away too.
That definitely helped the quality of play.
Oh, there's Max looking for the short ball.
Misses the lob.
Yep. They caught him. He was looking to sneak in, and then he had to change direction quickly. Good,
Deep
George,
breath from
taking a
George.
moment. Good. That's all key moves to being able to play your best when it counts. Nice deep high lobs by Johan.
Another conservative backhand from Mark on a ball he really could have unloaded on.
Wow. Big lobs. Max looking to make that cut, that side back.
Johan with a big topspin backhand. There were two shots in that point where Mark had an opportunity to unload and the backhand didn't. Didn't hit bad balls, but didn't really go after it. 15-all.
Is Max taking a moment to just talk about their tactics, I'm sure? Wide. We saw that a couple of times. Ball lands on those 3 or 4 boards, and Johan's trying to go down the alley, and it's just there's no real estate there.
30-15. George faults.
Max does the right thing, walks it back.
Yeah, I think ultimately Max is going to be the captain of this team. But George got away with that backhand drive through. George looks happy to be out of that backhand corner.
Oh,
Johan
caught
catches the seam. Break point.
Yep.
See if Mark goes after the return of serve here. Nope, he's guided it.
Nice little slider overhead there. Nice combination. Lob, drive lob by Mark.
Wow. That ball was out by a yard.
Yeah, but look at the wind. Look at the wind that picked up the umbrella above the umpire. There was a big gust just as he hit it, and it turned the umbrella up. So might have had something to do with that.
Still a long way to miss by. Back to deuce.
Beautiful volley.
Mark misses the backhand. Point for 5-4.
How Mark just uses the screen to slow the ball down and create the exact point of contact that he wants. Hit, hit, he hits. Same rhythm. Hit, hit, he hits. Oh!
Like George was on that volley.
Yeah.
Maybe he expected it to be a little harder than it actually was.
He was a little turned. Max hit that overhead too fast. Gave Mark the opportunity to rip it.
George once again taking a minute. Huge grunt by George, but a bigger return from Johan. Well, these games like this are just wonderful, aren't they, Jerry? Do sad.
Gets
Great
down
shots.
To 4 all in the third. Isn't this why we play?
This is what it's all about.
This is so fun. Playing with that is that George should not be there.
George is way over in the middle of the court there. He bothered Max.
Yeah, well, that's not his ball. Johan saw it and just placed the ball right in that spot.
I think that's a result of just not having played too many tournaments together.
Well, yeah.
Although George shouldn't have been there with anybody.
Yeah, exactly. But
kind of wandered over to the middle of the court.
They do have a couple of things that you can see they need to figure out.
Those are the notes I see under in front of you, Jerry.
I don't want to forget.
Jerry, you never forget anything. Okay, Johan Durant to serve for the title. 5-4 in the third. First point is so important in these games. Great volley.
Yeah. Again, just made it look routine.
Oh, great pickup by Johan. George hits 2 great forehands this game. And it's earned him nothing.
Was that quick block lob off the deck? It's so effective. Max hits it so well.
Yeah, George missed that one.
Wide. Tough
Right,
angle
Mr.
from that
Johan.
far back.
Yeah. Surprising.
Mm-hmm.
15 all. Great blitz from Max. Starting to see him use his speed more. Ball mark's got to let go through. 15-30. Nope. Oh, good.
Just on the back
Well
of the
done.
line.
Great volley from George.
Oh, he's
Mark forces
he
the
saw.
forehand.
Yep, he saw the opening. though. Max was heading out.
15-40. 2 points to get back
And
on
George
serve.
is taking another second. That's the difference. George has got to throw up that lob. There's no way you're getting it past Johan.
Juan used to have a rule. Whenever they drive the ball, Johan drives the balls through, you have to lob it. You can't get caught up in that game.
Yeah, there's no way to put it.
Great blitz from Max. Great volley from Mark.
Yeah, it's a nice sequence of block lobs, and it's a nice counter of well-placed overheads. There's a little slider.
Great deep lob from Max there.
Mark says, I'll come out and hit one. And there's that backhand overhead. And
boy.
Uh-oh.
You were talking about testing our camera.
Uh,
At least it didn't happen on a big point, Jerry.
or at a big time in the match.
That was a tremendous get from Johan, too.
Mark, I'll hold the ladder. Go off. Oh, no. Okay, well, this is going to be a great opportunity for us to look at Mark and Johan's positioning in the backcourt and their footwork.
Johan with a couple little touchy-feely
Yep,
backhands.
like that flick. Oh.
Another one there. Big forehand from Johan wins the point.
Yep, run a high percentage shot. He hit right through the middle.
Back to deuce.
No, they're not going to be able to do anything yet.
No.
Rick's gone out from A-net to see if they can.
George misses the return.
Yeah,
It's match point.
Adjust it.
Great serve from Johan.
So Rick Glazebrook, our producer from A-net, has gone out to see if he can get up on the ladder, because this camera is a temporary camera. It's not. We had to change court, so. Okay, well, we're at match point. And we have a great opportunity to look at Mark and Johan when they're at net.
Big roller from Johan.
And we can see that Johan's hitting a lot of his overheads from inside the service box.
Eric Buderak, if you're watching, this is the patience we discussed yesterday.
But that's a better lob. There's Mark with a cutoff. And then the lob goes back over his head. So they're creating movement. And now we've got Mark on the left hitting the majority overheads.
And Max hits a great forehand, elicits the error. Back to deuce.
Well, we've had it all today, haven't we?
Great blitz from Max, hits Parsons. Break point.
We're away from the court.
Oh, the
We're
great backhand from Max.
Yep, we're trying to see the whole court. We're not right in front of it. But again, this is a great opportunity to see the net positioning. That ball landed on the line.
I just love the belief from George and Max. I've never sensed anything but that they were here to win the tournament. There catches the nick. Great get. Mark misses the backhand. 5-all. Wow, that was some game,
wow.
Jerry. Okay, so this is our other camera, the compliments. And this is actually the view that Jerry and I have.
Right. Yeah. I think so. I mean, I think you can see the whole court, even though it's through another court.
Johan misses the forehand down the line.
Max is serving. 5-all, third set. Oh, great spot by Mark. Right on George's right hip.
If anybody wants to complain about this, Johan's email is johandurant@gmail.com. You can talk to him for running into our camera.
I don't know what happened on that point.
I think Johan missed that ball long. I think it's 30-15.
30-15.
Great volley from George.
Oof. And again, we're seeing attack and counterattack.
And the lights go off in the middle of the point. And Max misses the overhead wide. Believe that's 30 all.
Yeah. No. It's got to be square. Square to the angle of the ball when that rocket is coming at you.
Break point for 6-5. We think. 30-40.
Oh, what, Johan, that forehand was just so smooth.
What exactly does Johan do that isn't so smooth, Jerry?
Well, you know, sometimes you just know that it's going to be a bullet because it looks like a bullet. But then that one, he just generated the pace.
Oh, what a shot. Great volley. And Max misses the volley.
They're not square to the angle of the ball and it's coming at them from there. Both George and Max made the same as a technical. Oh, we got a picture of our
Co-producer?
cameraman. Yeah, Don Kirk.
Fixing the camera.
Yep, there we go.
Good.
Water on the lens.
No,
Stop.
yeah. We need walkie-talkies because he's only going to be able to eyeball it.
It's good. Leave it.
Yep.
Okay, we're back in business, Jerry.
6-5.
We need him to get off the camera now. Max is looking daggers at us. Oh, don't. Oh.
I don't want to look if anybody was holding that ladder. I hope so.
There were 3 people there, Jerry.
Okay, good.
And a trampoline at the bottom.
Excellent.
6-5. Randt Parsons will attempt to serve for the match for a second time.
Johannes stayed very patient all throughout this match.
Well, that bodes well for their season.
Mhm.
Seen very few of the shots we saw last year, where it just felt like the shot clock was expiring and needed to make something happen.
And Mark is much more involved than what we saw, especially in Philly.
And has played very conservatively by Mark's standards. Great lob from Max.
Fabulous lob by Johan. Third panel slam. Roller. And this is why you practice your screens.
Oh, great
Not just
forehand from
happy-
Mark.
Yep, not just happy to get the ball back, but they're creating offensive opportunities with the screens. That was a big rip.
Great forehand. Caught him off balance.
Dirty love.
2 points from victory. Oh, big forehand from George. Catches Johan leaning to the middle. 30-15.
Out.
Mark misses it long. That was a surprising miss.
Maybe he's feeling the pressure of Max going in so fast right behind it.
Would have thought he would have lobbed the ball then, but maybe. Wow, that was George's bread and butter too. I like the swing. Match point number 2.
Oh.
Oh.
Ah.
Great match.
All right. Yeah, fabulous match. Well played by Mark and Johan. And I think, Max and George should be very happy.
And the lights are back on, Jerry.
Yep. They should be very happy with their whole performance. They had tough matches through the tournament, and they played a great final under very difficult conditions.
What do you think the difference was, Jerry?
I think, one, the teamwork, the deliberateness of Mark and Johan remaining the same. And I think George and Max went up and down in that match. They showed some really good, solid teamwork, good tough play, momentum. They played some tired points, and there was several points in there where they were unclear on who was going to take the ball. And you didn't see that from Johan and Mark. Obviously, they've been playing together.
Well, that's what I was going to say. 2 facts. One is this is Mark and Johan's 4th consecutive year or 5th consecutive year of playing together as a team.
Yeah.
The second one is that Max and George had 5 tough sets to get here, and Mark and Johan had 2 relatively easy ones.
Mm-hmm.
So all those things kind of played into it, because that match was decided by the width of a piece of paper.
Yeah. And it kind of got away a little bit at the end. There were 3 quick points that they need more time, obviously, together on the court and know what's happening, where they should have taken a moment in there. But hey, it's very exciting to have a new combination in the hunt, and this was a great first Grand Prix tournament. The depth, like we said, the opening of the show, the women's tour, I've never seen so many top-ranked teams, women and men, playing at Patterson.
And some really high-quality matches. The women's semis between Cruz and Anika against our defending national champions, Nicolescu and Andrakova, was terrific. This was a terrific match.
And it's exciting
Quarterfinal with
too,
Luba
right?
DeRose.
Different combinations of players. That's,
Yeah, I agree.
How they're mixing up, and they bring different strengths to the table, and we have to see how the season plays out. I'm not sure how many of those new combinations we saw at Patterson with the women are going to go to Chicago. So it'll be interesting. We've got a lot of great stuff to look forward to, and like we said, we're going to be bringing the whole series, Grand Prix series, here on the Platform Tennis Channel, and also we're going to be doing the mixed nationals and the nationals.
It's going to be a great year. Hopefully it'll be a little more even-keeled than Patterson was, Jerry.
Well, we had our hands full, and we are looking forward to getting all of our cameras in place, because we spent the summer working on it, and we've got a Jeb give us that high angle, and Don has done a fantastic job of wiring up this court. We actually need to take some pictures of that. And Rick dealing with the weather elements. I mean, we had serious rain, and making the adjustments was really, it's a team effort.
And we weren't expecting winter, we were expecting fall, as you and I are bundled up in
I
other
know.
people's jackets.
Thank God we have umpires'
Yeah,
jackets.
thank
We're not
God.
really umpires. And I want to give a shout out to Shannon Vincent.
Absolutely.
who
I was just about to say that.
Yeah, on her new role as our tour director. And she will be going with us to all the Grand Prix tournaments to really just see that they're run, helping the tournament directors, because it's a huge undertaking, and over just 2 days, a lot of players are making the commitment to travel and support these tournaments, and she'll be there to, help make things run smoothly. The draws are all being done. Both men's and women's are using the same rating system that Ray Croster is tabulating for us.
I call that the modified Crosta system.
It's a formula, so it's all based on numbers and
No subjectivity at all.
right. And that's, I think, we're going to continue to see really interesting early round matches, and
Going to be a great
NGB.
year.
Yeah.
Really excited.
The APTA has really made a big jump in the live, not just the live streaming, but the whole media, the Facebook page. So like it's on Facebook. There's a Twitter account. The email blasts are going out. The website's been updated. So, we're hoping to reach the whole paddle community and share this the Grand Prix series, as well as what's happening in the paddle community. Because as our interview last night with Eric Buderak.
Our interview with Eric
Yeah,
Buderak.
I was in it, but you went and
It
got
looked like
him.
you who was there.
Well, you went and got him, but he so beautifully stated what it is that we love. Well, we love to play the game, but it's really about the paddle community, right?
Yep, absolutely. We want to do an interview with our winners, or we're going to
I
cut
think-
off?
No,
We're not going to do an interview with our winners. We're having some
you know
technical
what?
difficulties.
We can't, because we can't get them up
Right.
here. So
Okay.
I think we'll sign off, Mark. Nice
See
to
you
be
guys.
back
See you in
again.
Chicago.
Yep, we'll see you in a few weeks.
That's all for now.